Hello,
Hey,
everybody. Welcome to
g'day.
the first live stream that I've ever hosted without the comfort of my Collector's Pack crew. I'm not flying completely solo. Obviously, I've got Matt here with me, and I'm really excited to spend the next 60 to 90 minutes having a bit of a chinwag and just kind of putting a bow on 2022 by sharing our favorite finds of the past year and getting 2023 underway from a collecting standpoint by talking about some of the things that we're looking forward to picking up this year, hopefully. How you doing, Matt?
Absolutely excellent. Thank you very
Hey,
much.
that's okay.
Thank you for inviting me on. It's fantastic.
Oh, mate.
Pleasure to do
Look,
this with you.
the first non-collectors pack live stream here on this channel, I couldn't think of anyone better to get on. So thank you so much for joining me. Now, I just want to give a quick shout out to the peeps in the chat. So we've got Lee, we've got Shane. Shane, what's good? Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, Shane.
Retro Cartel Collectibles, how you doing, brother? Thanks again for those Dick
Hey.
Tracy figures, man. I really do appreciate that. We've got Phil, we've got Gumbo
Hey,
the
Phil.
Dumbo, we've got Jewel, we've got my brother Mitch, we've got Simon. What's going on, everybody? Hope you are
Hey,
all
Mitch.
doing well.
Hey, Joel.
I hope you're doing well. Now, a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the top fives. I'm dressed from head to toe by Keep On Collecting today. I've even got the limited edition Keep On Collecting Y-front undies rocking downstairs. So
How'd you get those?
got them from your top drawer. Oh,
They are special edition.
they are special. Not the laundry basket, the clean ones out of the top drawer. Yeah, Carl, I thought it was you, bro, but thanks for just confirming that for me, man. I appreciate that. Taylor's what's good? Yeehaws here. So, yes, obviously I'm dressed by Keep On Collecting today, and the reason for that is it's just a small gesture of my gratitude and my respect for all the effort that Matt put into that super special video that dropped on Keep On Collecting's YouTube channel last night. I'm still in disbelief. Three viewings later, I still can't even believe it, mate. I'm not trying to do this whole spiel by making this about myself, not in the slightest. I just want to make it about the man next to me because I can't believe that Matt would take the time to, ask people to put together a little video message about me hitting 1,000 subs. And nor would I think that so many people would get on board. So I just want to say thanks so much for that. I don't want to harp on this too much, but I thanked Matt personally last night. And the best way that I can describe how special that moment was for me was the version of me from 3 years ago that was sitting on the fence about even doing this thing in the first place, thinking, oh man, the last thing I want to do is be talking to a camera and all this, stuff that you have to kind of get past. The version of me that was sitting on the fence, but who didn't have any real world friends who collected stuff and who wanted to go on the hunt with, he wouldn't even believe that. So Matt, thank you very much, mate. It means a ton. And I just want to get that out of the way because I want to talk toys. I'm not trying to make this a big thing, but I've got to show love to you, mate.
Thank you. Well, no, you're welcome, Scotty. I know who you are, and as I said in the video, you're very humble. You don't want to make a big thing of it. That's not why you got into doing this. So, and that's why I just kind of wanted to do it and keep it on the low and make it special for you. Just absolutely surprise you and try and knock your socks off with it. Because to us, Andrew and I, to all these people in the chat, to people that watch your channel, you mean a lot to us. What you do, you just make it more fun. You make collecting and doing this hobby more fun. So that's why we did it.
I really appreciate it, dude. It was awesome, man. I wasn't expecting it. I was blown away. But anyways, all that aside, we got some fun stuff to talk about today. Just a little bit of context. So late last year, I was thinking of just putting together a video, a regular video where I talk about my top 5 things that I'm most grateful to have picked up last year. And then I was just thinking, well, you know what? I'd rather actually have this conversation with someone else and kind of compare notes, especially someone like Matt, where we've got overlaps in our collection, but we collect a lot of different stuff. And I just thought, you know what? Rather than doing all that editing and all that work that comes with a video, I just thought it might be more fun to do it in a live stream format. Because the other cool thing about this is I want to hear, and Matt wants to hear, we want to hear what, all the cool stuff that you guys in the chat have picked up that you're happy with and what you're looking, what you're really on the hunt for this year in 2023. So I just thought it's the kind of subject matter that lends itself to a live stream.
Yeah, Please
so that's
share.
why we're doing it.
Feel free to share as we go on in our little journey of 2022 and 2023.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Pete, g'day, mate. Thanks for dropping in. I'm looking forward to having a chat with you on Thursday night. That's going to be a fun one.
Ooh,
And,
no, I didn't know about this. Is there something happening? Is there on Thursday night?
Well, Pete reached out to us today and just asked if, I want to jump on his show to have a chat on Thursday. So Thursday night, I know Pete will be recording a little bit of a promo for that, so we can hopefully get some people in the chat for that one, and it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. We've got some momentum going for 2023, and I just love having these sorts of chats. So
talking about toys, it's good.
Yeah,
and
talking about toys.
Doing it all.
What's that?
Showing toys, talking about toys.
That's it.
We're all
That's
like-minded. That's great.
That's it. Exactly
G'day,
right.
James.
Exactly
James
right.
Ward's popped in.
James, how are you, brother? Hope you're doing well. Alrighty, so guys, top 5 pickups for 2022. We'll start to work our way into that. So, the way we're going to do, and look, I don't know, hats forward for me. Just don't feel right at the moment. I don't know if it's the hair.
That's better.
Anyways,
That's more you. That's more
I'm adjusting my look. This feels a bit more me. So we'll start to work our way into the top 5s of 2022. Now what we're going to do is Matt and I will just count down our top 5s, and we'll go back and forth and have a bit of a chin wag. And the stuff we're talking about, we've got here handy so we can show you guys. And whilst we're going through that, obviously, like I mentioned, we'd love to hear your guys' favorite things that you picked up to add to your collections in 2022. So the way I've approached it, Matt, these aren't, and I mentioned this to you, mate, these aren't necessarily like, I didn't look at the most expensive items or anything like that. Yeah. These are just the things that made me happiest to add to my collection. And the way I've approached it is I've tried to make the top 5 somewhat representative of 2022 as a whole, as a year as a whole for me. Okay. I try to pick out some items that give you a good little overview of the types of stuff that I was picking up this year. You know what I mean? Or last year, I should say.
Good idea. Last year, yeah. No, I understand. Yeah. It's a bit hard because everything that we get into our collections, we don't just buy for the sake of buying. It's stuff we want. So it's hard to pick a 5 in any order. It's just hard to get a list of 5. And so it did take a while to think about this, Scott.
Yeah, for sure. Same here, mate. I definitely had to have a look at the display, have a look at some of the new stuff I'll put out, and really think back to make sure I didn't forget anything. And I'm not convinced that whilst we're going through this, I won't be like, oh no, I forgot about this. But anyways, that's just the way it goes.
I'm sure that's going to happen. Like someone will say something in the chat, or you'll say something, and I'll go, oh, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's Andrew. Andrew's popped in as well by the looks of it.
G'day, Andrew.
It's a little bit hard, but yeah, I think it's a lot of fun just going through some of these toys. And like you, I think they're just things that have meant something to me, just to get these into the collection, just so to speak. And they've been things that I've been after a while. So yeah, for sure.
Well, should we rip into it with a couple of honourable mentions?
Yeah, let's do some honourable mentions.
All right, do you want to go first?
Yeah, all right. Where did I put them? All right, Danny. All right. So the first one, we'll chuck it up, and we won't go too far into it, but an honourable mention is definitely going to my Pegasus, picked up on our Melbourne trip, no less, which, so I've Clash of the Titans to me, this toy line, can't go wrong. I've been after it for many years, had the figures for quite a long time. I knew that, I needed the Pegasus and the other big fella. So I just, finding this complete, unbroken in Melbourne, that was awesome. It hasn't made my top 5, believe it or not.
Matt, I'm shocked that it didn't make your top 5.
I'll explain why later.
Okay.
I can't explain quite yet.
Okay.
A couple other honourable mentions, and these are daggy, they're not toys, but these books I had as a kid. Now I thought, and I just popped up, they're dinosaur books. So this is from Ashton Scholastic book, and I loved this book as a kid, and it's actually got a guy's name in there. It's got like Reese Alexander, but this book looks like it's been printed, like just some of the artwork in it, and as a kid,
so good.
I just loved this book. I just read it. It's the Allosaurus, and the dinosaur getting eaten, because I was a big dinosaur kid, and I'm still a dinosaur kid. So there's that one, and because as a kid, I kind of wanted to be an archaeologist. And there's a little golden book, and I love this book as well. Like, there's a Brachiosaurus underwater. I didn't realize. So this is the way I guess we perceive Brachiosauruses, going underwater, breathing from their snout. But there was some. This one is a classic. I seen this, and I went, "Oh my god!" I had this as a kid. And
where did you get those from, Matt?
Just eBay. And this lady, I said, "Oh, are these your?" Like, I like to get a bit of a story. So eBay these days, to me, when I buy something like this, I say, "Is this yours?" And she goes, "Yeah, it was like my son's, and it's just been like sitting there in the pile of books, and I've decided to get rid of it." And but they were two separate people. But there's those
gotcha.
two. And I think that'll be it. That's my 3 special mentions. They meant a lot to me. Those 3 items.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know. Look, we're action figure collectors for the most part, but there is something really nostalgic to me about the books that I had as a kid. You know what I mean? And they're more so like books like that are kind of somewhat educational, but they had the amazing artwork and the pictures. Like, for me, it's those Usborne, World of the Unknown books that I've told you about, like those sorts of monster, ghosts, and UFOs books, which
well, they're just classics too, right?
Yeah, they are. They are, for sure. So
there's Usual Mike. G'day, Usual Mike. And there's Darth. I can see Darth Muzzer up there as well. G'day, Darth Muzzer.
Yeah,
Hope you're well.
Mike, no sweat at all, mate. I listen. I appreciate you messaging me. That's awesome, mate. Thank you so much. Very good honourable mentions. Like I said, I'm staggered that the Pegasus didn't make the top 5, so I'm looking forward to the explanation around how that happened. I've got a couple of honourable mentions, which I'll rattle off pretty quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
Now, the first one's similar to you. It didn't really make the cut. It's because it's not a toy, but it's still something that I was stoked to pick up. And it's the Crash Test Dummies lunchbox with the thermos. I showed this on a collector's pack stream, brand new with the book and everything, with all the paperwork.
Yeah.
Inside, it's got these competition flyers and all that sort of stuff. Again, I'm just trying to pick up like a lunchbox for each of my favorite vintage action figure lines. I picked that one up from Greenie's Toys on Facebook, so shout out to Greenie. And I was super stoked to pick that one up.
Excellent.
And then my other honorable mention is one that I was kind of thinking about trying to work into the top 5, but I didn't because. So again, just for context, and I hope I'm not rambling here, and just when you guys just want to see toys. But the way that I looked at my top 5 was a lot of my favorite purchases for the collection this year were big lots, and I didn't really, for the purpose of this discussion, want to be like, oh, here's all this stuff that I picked up in one hit. Like that's not as cool as like these are my favorite individual pieces. With that said, I've got some stuff in the top 5 where it's like a pair or a group where it kind of goes together, and I picked it up all at once. And this is kind of like that. And I'm talking about the Superpowers Batmobile with Batman and Robin in the driver and passenger seat. Now, this is as a group, this is one of my favorite items that I've added to my collection this year. It's last year, I should say. It's super iconic. But with that said, I picked them all up separately. So I got Batman right at the start of 2022 when I saw the Batman film at the theater, and it kind of it prompted me to go after that. And then I got the Batmobile at Collecticon during the year from Ben at Longboard, and then I got the Robin like when we were in Melbourne. So so these were all different. So because I picked them all up, different points throughout the year, not together, I thought, as a whole, I can't really put that in there. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough. I think there's technicality. That's a technicality.
Yeah.
But I would have accepted it.
Well, I appreciate that.
And you can make your own rules too.
but like when we're splitting hairs here, like because we've got all stuff that we all that we love.
Well, right,
you find ways to kind of sort them. But I am super stoked with that Batmobile with Batman and Robin. It's just those three, like the 2 figures in that vehicle together on display. Chef's kiss.
Andrew
Tremendous.
said he thought there might be a 90 sandwich in your lunchbox.
Did he? Oh, Andrew.
That'd be a worry.
Andrew, that makes me think of that Exorcist lunchbox that you were admiring at Go Figure when we were in Melbourne. So good.
Yes. What are you drinking there?
Corona.
Corona. Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Taking a little break from my beloved Heineken to mix it up a little to start 2023.
Well, that is, yeah. It's a little bit unusual, isn't it?
It is. It is. All right. Should we crack
All
into
right.
the top 5?
Let's crack into the top 5. All right. So, you want to go first?
Yeah, you go first, mate.
All right. I'll go first. Okay. So now then I can explain why Pegasus isn't getting picked, and it's because it's been outdone. I can't have 2 Clash of the Titans items.
Okay.
In February, in February this year, I've been after this for many years. And it's been on my watch list for many moons. And let's face it, it's a lot of money to get one of these. So, and it had to come from the States. So I was just about to pull the plug. I'd saved up a lot of money, ready to buy it off online. And I don't know what made me search on eBay. I'll do one more search on Australia, and this popped up in Bankstown. And this guy was selling it from his personal collection, from his childhood. Nothing broken on. I've pulled the tail off at the moment because it can come off. But so you can, there you go. That's probably it in full shot.
Incredible.
But to not have to pay postage or tax from America, and it's still a lot of money. But I've just been after this for so long. He's like a little mate. It's great to have him in the collection up there with the Clash of the Titans figures now, and hence why he's in my top 5. So I think this is a February. That's the one I'm going to just order just in order of when I've bought my figures throughout the year. Bought them or got them. So I didn't feel that I could have 2 Clash of the Titans figures in my top 5. I don't think anyone would have argued, but there's so much. I wanted variety.
Okay, all right. I might have a couple of items from the same toy line, but I take your point. You're trying to have a bit of variety here, so that makes sense. But so you're definitely going in order of pickup here, because or do you have 4 items that you picked up in 2022 that are cooler than the Kraken?
If I was going in order, I think the Kraken it'd be close to first. I think it'd either be second, probably second or first. I'll show you. Well, yeah, the other one means a lot as well. So,
for sure.
My actual number 1, which actually was one of the later ones, and will be my number 1. I'll explain that as well. There's a lot of explaining happening on, but there you go. There's number 5. Because he was purchased first in 2022.
I like it. Yeah, Phil's saying a bonus that you were able to find it here locally, because an item of that size. Obviously, it's not going to be cheap for international shipping, and then you got to worry about what sort of knocks is it going to cop in the post. You know what I mean?
Correct. It's just so fragile. Like a lot of these, the fins at the front are usually broken, or the tail is broken. Let me just repeat. I've just removed that. I just couldn't be bothered. Or there's something wrong with it. But this guy has looked after it so well from his childhood toys. I guess he probably didn't play with it a lot. I think as a kid, it'd be really hard to play with this toy, I think. Yeah. It's just so big, and I feel if you played with it like a kid plays with toys, it would probably find itself snapped, like something would snap off it pretty easy. So I'm glad he probably wasn't a big player as a kid. And he didn't play with it too much, so it might gain. I love it. It's fantastic.
Gumbo the Dumbo is saying one of his favorite pickups is 3 figures in a vehicle from Power Lords. Is that a line you have, Matt?
Well, I'll tell you, Gumbo, that was close. See, this I mean. It was close. I picked up Adam Power, I picked up Argus, and I picked up Griptog in a bit of a bundle, and I love them because it's like early 80s and Revel, and they were close to getting in there, but I'm like, oh, they've been edged out by a few other things. So yeah, Power Lords are excellent. I even managed to snag a few of the comics because it didn't have a TV show. It was it had the comic to go with the toys. So yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, 150. Okay, yeah, complete. They're really hard to find complete. 100%. Thanks, Lee.
Alrighty.
It is.
So let me give you my number 5. So I am going in order of,
From
in order of kind of finishing with my most favorite item.
Yeah, I'm just gonna confuse people. You're doing it right.
No, your top 5, your rules. I'm not going to argue with you. It's quite all right. So like I said, I want to make my top 5 somewhat like representative of my year in collecting. And one of the things that I picked up this year is a lot of like obscure and random stuff. So, I picked up Barnyard Commandos figures. I picked up Cadillacs and dinosaur stuff. You know what I'm saying? I picked up that skateboard smack ups figure from Aaron's Collectibles. I picked up knockoff Mad Balls, like all this sort of stuff. And I wanted something that kind of there we go. So I wanted something that kind of reflected that avenue of collecting. And I couldn't think of anything better than, as you said, Matt, the carded Attack of the Killer Tomato.
That is awesome.
And also, Matt, I wanted to make sure that I was including something that I picked up from Melbourne, from the weekend in Melbourne, because obviously that was a highlight of 2022 in itself from a collecting standpoint, and just in general, mate. It was an awesome weekend. So I wanted to make sure I included something from that. So yeah, we've got the carded Attack of the Killer Tomatoes Tomacho. I've got a loose one as well, but if I'm being specific, I've got to have the carded one. The card art, the colors, the bites taken out of it. I love it.
That was it was funny because like when we were heading to Melbourne, I had seen that the day before. Like I can't remember. I watched a YouTube thing and I mentioned it to you, and you're like, "Yeah, I know, Matt. Like I know about this. I've only recently found out myself." And so and just so happened there it was in Melbourne, ready for you to buy.
Yeah, for sure. I've also got a bit of a thing for like action figure lines from the 80s and 90s that stemmed from a horror movie. Like you think of Toxic Crusaders coming from the animated series, which was inspired by the horror film Toxic Avenger, that film franchise. And likewise, like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was like a B horror movie. So, it's just, I just love that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's slotted in there at number 5.
That's a good choice. It does represent exactly, as you said, what you were picking up through the year. You've been introduced to a lot of new toy lines, haven't you, this year?
Oh, for sure.
You ventured out a little bit, which is all.
For sure. Oh, mate, listen, I've definitely ventured out. There's going to be at least one more item in here from a new toy line as well for 2022. So I love it.
That's excellent.
Yep, Lee saying Killer Tomatoes was the VHS he always wanted to rent as a kid. Yeah. You know what, Matt? Have you seen? I don't suppose you've seen the movie.
No, no. I think it has John. Does it have John Aston in it? I'm not sure. Like Gomez Adams. Something rings a bell. I think was it the 70s, like 78. They made that.
I thought it was I thought it was 80s, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was like the late 70s.
Or was it 88? 78, 88. Anyway, someone will set me right. They can Google it for me and tell me.
Yeah.
There might have wasn't there a Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and Return of the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes? I think it was.
Yeah, there might have been. There might have been a couple of films. I'll have to try and. I mean, it's the kind of movie where if you wanted to get like a ex-rental VHS on eBay, I'm sure it's going for an absolute mint. It's
sure.
It's one of those obscure movies that you just can't track down on VHS. I assume if there's a copy up there for $10, I'll scoop it up to display with the figures. But yeah, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, just because that was the thing with that, Matt. Like I was asking them I picked that up from Lobo's. I was asking them about Mattel food fighters, and they're like, "Oh no, we've got another Mattel line you might be interested in here, though." So it was one of those random things. But
and we were watching Not Another Retro channel last night, and they went to a toy show, and they had 3 carded Killer Tomatoes, and they wanted 60 American each for them.
Yeah.
So they're not a cheap Well,
No, and that's pretty much. I mean, I might have even got them at a bit better deal than that by the time you do the exchange rate. But I feel like I always pick stuff up here, especially in stores here, and then I see videos of collectors in the States, and I'm like, man, like how ridiculous are the prices over there compared to here? But that kind of held up. You know what I mean?
Yes. What are they saying in the chat there? Oh, g'day, Damien.
Yeah, g'day, Damien. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
So Carl's pickups for Motu, Scareglow, Terraclaw, Skeletor, and Ninja all complete. Wow.
Is that the Origin stuff? Is that Origins or a vintage?
I'm assuming it's vintage.
I'm guessing it's probably vintage because funny thing is they have just recently released all those in Origins as well. But yeah, they're great. I mean, I've had them for a few years now, but
you've got those three, Matt?
Yes, I'm lucky enough to have got them. Yeah, probably 20 odd years ago. So I probably didn't have to pay the prices that they're asking.
No,
thank God. You have to take a second mortgage out in the house.
Yeah, I know. It's
sometimes for these older figures. But I remember I was watching a Pixel Dan on Ninja actually through the year, and he mentioned, you got to make sure this is the part. And it had all these accessories, and I went,
yeah.
Oh, do I have those nunchucks? And you run into the toy room and you go, oh, thank God I've got those nunchucks.
Yeah. Yeah, Freddy Krueger figures. No, I'm not sure if. Do you mean like the large talking Freddy, or were there smaller scale figures from the 80s? I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
Or unless it's like NECA stuff. I'm not quite sure which line, but I don't have any Freddy in the collection just yet. Anyway.
What kind of Freddy would you get if there was a Freddy figure?
You know what? I've mentioned this to you before, Matt. Sun Gold bootleg horror figures.
Yeah.
Sharp Hand Joe.
Sharp Hand Joe. That's right.
You know, the Freddy Krueger bootleg that came out in like Sun Gold's bootleg Universal Monsters line. They got all the Universal Monsters with Sharp Hand Joe.
You've shown me. That's right.
Yeah.
What a funny name too.
I know. It's just ridiculous. Matt, let's go number 4 for you, or the second one that you picked up in 2022.
All right, number 4. So this came just before CollectorCon in July, just before Ryan came out to visit. And it was funny because, he's trying to save money to go out for CollectorCon. And bloody hell, man, this came up on Facebook, no less. This guy was selling his collection, and it's Blasterhawk.
Oh, hell yeah.
It didn't come with He-Man Battle Armor. Battle Damn, whatever he is. Battle Armor. But I've just chucked him in there because that's the way it was. It came with a box. It came complete with its 8 discs, and it's got everything there. Nothing's broken on it. I did release a video, but this is like a vehicle that it's like a land and air vehicle. So it reminds me of a pistol. Like you can run around as a kid and fire the discs in here. You pull back your trigger and two. So that's the flying part of it, and then of course it attached to the land part of it. But it was a bit of a steal. It was the final vehicle that I needed for the vintage Masters line. So he just happened to be, his name was Matt as well, and so it was really good dealing with him and getting this amazing condition, because the ones I was looking at, there was a lot of paint loss on the top. But this paint is like this, just looks like there's no scratches. So I don't know. Yeah. Another toy that probably wasn't played with a lot when they originally got it in the 80s. I think it was released in 86, if I recall. So towards the end of the line. Pretty happy. I remember firing the discs. Man, I stood up Skeletor and just went and shot Skeletor. I thought it was going to be a bit of a Friday, Scotty Crusher Friday fail or something, but it all worked out in the end. So
yeah,
that is my number 4, the beautiful Masters of the Universe Blasterhawk.
That's awesome.
Off it goes into the sunset. That was excellent.
Carl and Damien and Phil in the chat are big fans of that piece, and Phil saying he wasn't familiar with it before seeing your video, which was likewise with me, Matt. Like I'm not big into I'm not a big Masters guy, but I definitely appreciate it. I didn't grow up with it, so I don't have that same connection. But I'd never seen that toy before, and the fact that it's almost like a role play toy, that gun, as well as like a vehicle, it's really awesome.
As a kid, I would have definitely grabbed that and just detached it from the landing gear and say, firing at my brothers and getting it sent to the corner for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I was going to say something. I forgot what I was going to say about it. Yeah, it's not for everyone. And I think, that's what I was going to say. When I was exploring doing the video on that, there was no other videos. No one had actually made any videos on the Blaster Hawk. So I went, it looks like I could be the first to actually do this. So I tried to make it a bit comprehensive, a bit fun.
No, you did good. I enjoyed that one a lot. Dean Taylor's just jumping in and said that he has to shout out Sarah for the 99% complete vintage Technodrome for Christmas morning.
100%.
Good on you, mate. Yeah, Sarah kind of picked our brain about that one as well to try and locate one, and I'm glad. I'm really happy that Sarah was able to score one in time for Christmas, and that must have just made your Christmas morning all the more special. Vintage Technodrome is for a Turtles collector. It's the piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's you might have had some manties. You never know. I would have had some manties.
Alrighty.
What's your number 4, Scott? Moving right along.
My number four. So now, oh shit! Sorry, my number 4 is actually coming apart.
What?
Alrighty.
Wait, before you go on, read Andrew's comment. Andrew, what?
Andrew.
God bless you, Andrew.
Damien, need to find a woman who buys me stuff like that. Yeah. I'm so lucky to have Andrew in my life. Much you like Matt as well, you know. Oh God. Alrighty, Matt, Andrew, thank you so much, mate. You bloody didn't need to go and do that. I hope it was the aforementioned, $5 cheapie, and you've not spent too much. But anyway, so my number 4 is obviously another line that I started collecting in 2022, thanks to the bloke next to me, is Skeleton Warriors. Now, I would have so they just snuck in because I got those were all a Christmas thing, so they just snuck into 2022. I would have ideally loved to have included that whole lot of Skeleton Warriors as number 4, but like I said, I'm not going to do that. But I do have a figure and vehicle combo, and I'm talking about the Skull Cycle.
Oh, yes.
With Baron Dark. Now, Matt, in preparation for this, I tried to position Baron Dark on the Skull Cycle,
right,
and it just wasn't working for me. Do you have to take his cape off?
No, mine's got his cape on. I'd love to bring him down and show you, but he's kind of leaning forward, and his cape has kind of gone back over.
Do you have to take the backrest off then?
No. So my cape goes over top of that.
All right. Well, next time you're at my joint, you can set this up on display for me because I couldn't figure it out before.
All right.
So yeah, like I said, and like I banged on about in my last video for about half an hour, I absolutely love this figure line. No nostalgic connection, but that doesn't mean that I can't appreciate just how cool these figures are.
Wow.
And if I'm going to pick kind of like one item or a pair for the top 5, I thought, you know what, the Big Baddie and his awesome ride, that's kind of the pick, you know what I mean, from the line. So that's my number 4, Matt.
That Baron Dark and Skeletor would get on like a house on fire, wouldn't they? Those two, he'd invite Baron Dark over to Snake Mountain, and they'd be having a few brewskis, I reckon.
That's it. Just skull-headed skeleton figures are just rad. Like, convince me otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Like,
why did they fail? I just don't understand.
I'll never know. Never know. Maybe the animated series wasn't great. Maybe it just wasn't marketed that well. Maybe it was just ahead of its time. I've got no idea, but they're cool as hell. So I had to have some skeletons in my top 5.
The problem is they didn't have people like us buying them back in the 90s.
Very true. Very true.
That's the problem there.
Exactly.
But I better check out what my next one is because I've got a memory like a sieve. It is. Oh yeah, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, Phil, Andrew is just Andrew and Matt as well. They're just those kinds of blokes. I mean, I suppose when you like Andrew and you've been collecting for 30 plus years and you've probably got just about everything you could ever want in your collection or close to it. Maybe it's just easy to then look after other people. I don't know what it is, but the boys are legends.
Well, you're right, Scott. And I think like it's for us, I think we love sharing the joy, like to see someone, to give something to someone and see their face with something that they want, not just give them a random tissue, but like give them an actual toy that they love. To see their face, just that just brings us joy. Like,
yeah,
that's probably the easiest way to explain it.
Well, you guys certainly bring joy. If it's not making a surprise video for me, it's sending some treats in just an act of kindness to someone overseas. We all love you, so I don't want to. I'm not trying to fawn all over you here, but Andrew's just given us another reason as to why we love you, bloke. So yeah,
Thanks.
G'day, Hazel. Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have the 3-car garage, so the flat is getting filled up quicker than I would like, but I appreciate it. It's all love.
It's gonna have to move into a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom flat soon.
I know. Alrighty, number 3. What do you got for us, Matt?
Okay, number 3. Now, this is a bit odd, but this was found probably, when did I find this? Collecticon. And I think I was very lucky because I think you and Ryan were at the table and I thought one of you were just going to grab it. And I just went, no, I want this figure. I've been after it for a while. And it was a carded version of the vampire from the real Ghostbusters. I'd had a loose one. He was in very well played with condition. No, not a cape. And so I was on the prowl for a better one. And you know what? Like I'm a remove from card kind of guy, as you know. But I don't want to remove this one from the card. I don't know why. There's something good just to see, because they're hard to come by, real Ghostbusters on the card, or even just a card by itself. So just to see, like, to have that card, with all the figures on the back there, the artwork and the figure. I kind of want this one to be, how you want one carded one and the rest can be loose, but I want this one carded.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, I'm like you, where I prefer to display stuff loose, with weapons in hands and all that sort of stuff. But it's always nice to have like a carded example for each figure line.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And the other thing about that Dracula figure, like it's always missing the cape when you find it loose,
That's right.
The cape's probably a bit tatty, whereas like that one would be all clean and crisp behind the bubble. So,
well, that's right, yeah. Which leads me on to like, it came close. Well, can I throw in an honourable mention?
Of course you can.
Can I add and this is the problem, right? Honourable mentions. They're just going to be called honourable mentions. Is that are the Infaceables.
Yes.
So picking this up. It was on card as well, like. But I have realised I don't want to remove it from the card because the latex will start to deteriorate, and I want to leave it on the cards so it can just stay like this for as long as possible, and just pick up. The rest of them can be maybe loose, but a lot of the loose ones, their face just deteriorates. It's all latex, and it just the air just makes it all flex.
No, you're
not the Rangers.
Like, for anyone in the chat who's not familiar with Infaceables, they got a really unique play feature where it's like there's a sculpted face and then there's like a latex film over the top where it makes a different face, and it doesn't age well, does it?
No, the latex fades, so it's kind of that kind of explains that you turn it all, and it kind of must be there. It sucks the air out of the latex face. And it kind of distorts the latex into something like skeletal or something weird.
Decomposes it.
Yeah, but brilliant. The card's not great, but I'm just going to leave it on card. Let it. It's a bit like a museum piece, really, but I don't want to.
No, I like it.
The air gets to it and kills it. Anyway, that's enough. That's 3 and a flex. So do I get extra points for a flex?
All the extra points. I mean, feel free to continue flexing throughout the remainder of the stream. It's totally fine. You know what? An interesting segue here, because you had that Dracula figure for your number 3.
Yep.
My number 3 is a set of 4 figures. Obviously, Ninja Turtles come in sets of 4. You got the 4 brothers. And I picked up a series of Turtles in 2022 that I absolutely love. And with my Turtles collection, I'm supposed to be like ending it at 1992, but in this case, I couldn't resist. And it's the Universal Monsters Ninja Turtle figures.
Oh, of course.
So, and obviously, we've got to start with Donnie as Dracula. This guy's complete. His other accessory is on display. But so some of these guys are missing some accessories. I've got Michelangelo as Frankenstein's monster.
Excellent.
I've got an awesome one, Raph as the mummy. And these are all the white details on this is glow in the dark. So that figure is completely glow in the dark. So that's awesome.
Beautiful.
And then I've got Leo as the Wolfman. So I know these aren't I know they're obviously not a single piece, but I bought them as a lot. And I got them for a really nice price. And I don't really care too much about I haven't ranked these according to what are my best deals or anything like that. That's not really the point of this, but it helps when you get a great deal. Like, I can't remember what I paid for those figures, but you know when you get an eBay listing where someone has an auction, so it was an eBay pickup. You know when there's an eBay listing where there's an auction start price and then there's a buy it now price?
Yes, yep.
The buy it now price was $20 higher than the auction start price, and when I saw that, I was like, "You stuffed up. I'm getting them right now." It was just one of those right time, right place things. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. Sometimes you strike it lucky.
Exactly. Yeah, Dean, I thought you'd appreciate those, mate. So, I love them. Universal Monsters. I love monsters. Like we spoke about the Usborne Monsters books that I loved as a kid. So Turtles crossing over with Universal Monsters is just right up my inner child's alley, and also me as a collector. So
that's right. You're allowed to blur the lines when those things appear. You go, I'm going for it.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm now trying to resist the urge to actually start collecting the rest of the 1993 wave. I'm trying to just make those an exception.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Let me just check my number 2. Okay. Yeah. I've forgotten. Only hopeless. All right, number 2. This is an eBay purchase. I was so close. I found this. They actually had this in Lobos in Melbourne, but they wanted a really, really high price for it. And I had already seen this on eBay, so I kind of knew that their price was high in Lobos. G'day, Ryan. Hey. So upon returning from Melbourne, this was still available on eBay, and they'd actually dropped the price $50 as well. And it's the Mattel Space 1999 Moonbase Alpha set with its box. I think it's been opened, but yeah, this is something as a kid I would have played can I say the shit? I would have played the shit out of this thing.
Of course you can.
I was Space 1999 crazy as a kid. I had to get my dad to make wooden eagles. So because he's a crafty kind of guy, he made eagles like the spaceship out of wood. We added Lego blocks. We made the stun guns. Anything I could do about Space 1999, I would have got.
Awesome.
So I don't know if this came out to Australia. I'm guessing it probably really did with the eagle, but they would have been in so few numbers and probably a little bit more than Mum and Dad's budget would allow. So I never seen it as a kid, but if I did, I probably would have wet my pants and cried and chucked a tanty in the corner of the toilet.
Thrown yourself on the floor of the Uncle Pete's toys. Or
I wasn't known for tanties, but I would have over this.
That's awesome.
So, this is an absolutely amazing piece to get in the collection. If I get another cupboard, I might be able to just set it up and make the room to display this, because I've got the figures, like the 8-inch figures there to go in the set. Really happy. See you smiling.
That's awesome. Well, mate, that's what it is. Like, these are the top 5 items that made us smile the most this year in the collecting space. So,
well, Lee, it's got to be Space 1999. Oh, I could. Well, we'll talk about that soon, Lee.
So I just want to interrupt this broadcast with a couple of quick comments here. So the Taylors, so I'm assuming this is Dean, Scaletail, Sandstorm, and Monty Moose for the big TMNT figure pickups in 2022. Those are some beauties. I got Scaletail in 2022, which is awesome. I'm just missing his whip, so I just need one more. But aside from that, he's complete. Sandstorm and Monty, I'm still on the search for, so those are awesome. And this is something that hopefully you can weigh in on, Matt. Mark has been offered £1,000 for his Palatoy Death Star.
Really, £1,000?
However, he's in Germany, and with fees, he'd end up with 800. Do I do it? I can be of no assistance on that one, unfortunately, Mark. That's not my wheelhouse.
1,000. What's that in Australian dollars? That'd be like 1,800 Australian dollars, 1,900.
I would think about that, but let's say fees after fees and postage and everything, like we're talking £800. So what are we talking about? Like $1,400, $1,500 Aussie?
Did he say it was complete?
He didn't say if it's complete or not.
What do you reckon, Andrew? Just chuck it up in the chat, man. Help Mark out, because Andrew's probably more Star Wars than I am. Like, I know what we're looking at. They Kyle had one where we went there the other week. Kyle had one in store there, and I don't think it was complete though. But there you go, Andrew's going, don't sell anything. We're asking the wrong guy then.
Yeah, that's a dilemma indeed. I mean, once things are sold, they're not always easy to get back in the collection. So anyone who has an opinion one way or the other, certainly weigh in on the chat on that one, because I really don't know.
I guess it depends, Mark, on what it means to you. How much does Star Wars mean to you? To have that piece in your collection. If it's, I know for a fact it wouldn't be easy to get back into your collection if you did regret selling it. So I guess you got to weigh those things up. I mean, I personally feel, I guess if £800, I think that's probably a good price, maybe, but whether it's complete or not. But yeah, just weigh it up, Mark. I think just whether you actually how much it means to you.
Yeah,
how much nostalgic value.
Said. Yeah, well said. That's all you can
nostalgic value, and you'd be happy to move it on. Just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
In my opinion.
Yeah, Lee, Usborne Monsters. Hey, it's one of those books that, like, a lot of kids, I think, from our generation, it was just like a staple, whether it was the school library or, your bookcase at home. And that was the case for me. I know that they have reprinted them, but I need an original print because I'm a fucking weirdo. Like, pardon my French, but I know that I could jump on eBay and get all 3 for like $20 delivered. But for some reason, like, I want the original. Well, you know what? I'm lying to you. It doesn't have to be the original one from like the late 70s. The 80s one that had the colorful covers, I'm pretty sure those were the ones that I had as a kid. And they're a little bit cheaper, but they don't come up very often. So anyways, I'll keep looking. But it's one of those things where, like, I've just got this vision or this dream of like walking into a Vinnie's or a Salvo's and finding them. But I mean, I've been at it for like 3 years and I haven't got a sniff of one at an op shop. So anyway, I'll keep looking. But I'm glad someone else, grew up with them as well, because they're like, some of the artwork is like just imprinted in my brain. So
we just didn't know what they were. Like I didn't know what they were. When you just go Usborne Monsters, I'm like, what? And then as soon as you see the cover, you go, oh yeah, they were in the library. They were good books.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
So I think what are you, number 2 for you?
Have you done 2? Yes, you have.
My Space 1999 thing.
You have. All right. Number 2 for me is not necessarily a rare piece or a valuable piece, but it's a special one for the collection. Yeah. And it's a special one also because I got Matt here with me, and it's the TMNT pizza thrower.
Oh.
Now,
I forgot about that.
I mean, I was blown away to get this generously gifted to me for my birthday by Matt and Andrew. And like I said, it's not exactly the rarest TMNT vehicle, But with that said, like this is probably the cleanest one that I've seen, or up there with the cleanest one that I've seen, because normally they're always missing stickers. They don't work, or they're just yellowed and faded or whatever. Stephen Brown's in the chat. Hey, brother.
Stephen Brown. Love it.
Hope
Hey,
you're
mate.
doing well, mate. I greatly enjoyed your weekly vlog this week, so keep up the great work on those. But yes, the pizza throw. I've mentioned this to you before, Matt. Like as a kid who was really into turtles, this was the big thing that I wanted, and I don't know if it was because I never saw the commercials for the Technodrome or like the larger vehicles, or if I just knew better than asking something that my parents wouldn't buy for me. So I set my sights at a more realistic level. But this was like the big thing that I wanted as a kid and never got. Yeah. So that's why that was really the main, that nostalgic, desire for it back in the day made it so special. And it's like I said, mate, it's complete, it's clean as, it works great, as you saw in that video where I'm struggling.
Well, we've got a request here to fire it.
Look, who's requesting? Andrew, I can't, mate. My dog is asleep like 3 meters away.
She'll have a conniption.
Yeah, last time my dog didn't trust me for like a good week afterwards, so I can't, I can't do that again.
No, it is a great piece. I remember having that as a kid as well. Like we were lucky enough, but I think someone gifted it to us. Like it was someone else's toy, and they had gifted us to us. And so it wasn't complete by any means, and the motor didn't work, but we had it and we could play with it with our Ninja Turtle. So
yeah, and with that pizza thrower, it's not just like, let's say, the Skeleton Warrior, Baron Dark has like a spring-loaded projectile weapon. Like that pizza thrower, you have to turn the motor on, and it's so loud.
It's like a bloody 70s lawnmower.
Like I said, I never had it as a kid, but one of my schoolmates had it, and houses, like 2-story houses, typically you go upstairs and there's like a hallway that connects all the bedrooms, and like we were trying to fire it down the hallway, and we had so much fun with it, and it was just one of those things that I always wanted, but I don't remember it being that loud back in the day.
No, you don't. maybe a few gears are grinding up, after 30, 40 years.
Possibly.
All right. We'll
move on to number 2.
All right. Number 1. I got this for Christmas. We've already shown it on our channel, but thank you very much, Andrew. I had no idea. He was trying to play the cool game of sending me little bits of the box because I had no idea I was getting this. He's sending me pictures each day of little bits of the box. I'm like, I don't know, like a pair of undies, dude. And he's like, oh, come on, man, think about it. I'm like, I don't know what it is. Anyway, in the end, he just told me, and it's good old. So I've removed it. I've shown it in the box before, but now he's actually out and about riding around the moon buggy. It's Alan Carter from Space 1999 in his moon buggy. He's reversing. Sorry. Well, let's go make him go forward. It's got this. It came with this like container as well. It's like a rock. It's like metal. If you threw this at someone's noggin, it would leave a scar. It's, oh my God. So they come with that. It's come with like these tiny, tiny little accessories, like his comlock, his gun, like a really cool helmet. And then there's Alan just sitting in the vehicle, 6-inch, amazing. So this blew me out of the water. I had no idea I was going to get it from Andrew. He's gone above, I'm going to say it now, it sounds like a broken record, above and beyond getting this. This is a combination Christmas birthday present. And I can't believe it. I love it. Thanks, man. You're going to give me man tears soon if you keep talking about it.
All right. Well, you can join me on that because I'm still drying my eyes after man tears from last night. But no, I did see that in your guys' Christmas gifts video, and you could see in that video how much it meant to you. So,
and the detail is just like they just didn't, as we said, they just didn't make toys like this in the 70s. And Matt refound he's missing the belt, and the sword, but it's really hard. I was lucky enough to get a Prince. My Prince Adam, his belt snapped because I was moving houses. I pulled him out, and his belt had snapped, and so eventually found a new one over the course of a few years. But yeah, the detail on this is just amazing. Like the sculpt on this, just like they just didn't have them in the 70s. And
Yeah.
I think this is where like Shabby has said also that well, a lot of people say it, like it's not just vintage toys that we love, it's just all toys. Like the things that they're making these days based on the IPs that we loved as kids, some like they're not always smashing it, but stuff like that. It's just you have little hearts in your eyes. It's just amazing.
Oh, for sure. Especially where it's like unfinished business of things that we didn't have back in the day. You know what I mean?
Correct. And that finish. It fills a little hole that you've kind of missed all your life. Like it's just 6-inch figure, articulated, detailed, with a vehicle. Can't ask more.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Number one. The last thing I picked up, plus probably my number one all year.
Oh, so Christmas present, so it just sneaks into 2022.
Just. And that's sneaky awesome. Little Andrew gave it to me like a week or two before Christmas as well. So definitely made it in. All right. Awesome. What's your number one?
All right. So this is tricky to pick up. So there was only really one contender for my number one. I knew this was my number one before I knew what my 2, 3, 4, and 5 were. And it's the Firehouse.
Of course. Beautiful.
So it's the beautiful vintage real Ghostbusters Firehouse. Now, when I picked this up, it was complete with the exception of the sign, which you can see there. And Ryan, the Collector Kid, sourced that for me in WA and brought it to us when he came and met us in July. Just only like 3 weeks after I got this. So that was awesome. But it also came with an Ecto 1.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, a really rough one. A really, really rough one. But just as far as like a second Ecto to be able to display inside the Firehouse, that just put it over the top. So I was stoked with this.
They've always been a beautiful centerpiece for any collection, really. Those
100%. Like, let's be real. It's not the most like. It's surely not the most fun 80s playsets as far as play features go. No. But like from a collector's standpoint, this thing is brilliant. Like like you said, Matt, a centerpiece to display all the figures around. I absolutely love it. So that was the number one for me for 2022.
They're absolutely beautiful. As a kid though, like your imagination would have gone wild, Scott. Like it would. I think we sometimes look at toys a bit differently now as adults, of course. And but as kids, man, you would have had a ball with it, like action figures running up and down the stairs, defending against the bad guys.
Do you know what the playset of my childhood was?
What was it?
A blanket tossed on the living room floor.
Yes, me too.
All right, I'm talking mountains, valleys, bunkers. Like you are 100% right. I can sit here as a 39-year-old man and be like, how do they access the top floor, or like, what do you even do on the middle floor? There's nothing for them to do. But let's be real. Like, you would have had a ball with it if you were lucky enough to have that as a kid.
Like, in saying that, like, yes, we had Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain, but they were limited play. Some of our best moments was getting a blanket and dropping it and making sure there was enough crevices in there for our action figures to hide in. And then you'd set up the dinosaurs or some other Indians and they would attack the guys in the mountain. Brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. A blanket.
Oh, the best. So, no, you're 100% right. Like, I can sit here and get, like, a bit critical, but, I mean, you're right. Who are we kidding? I mean, these things were the best back in the day, so.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Phil.
It was a cool video, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, anyways, so that's it for our top 5 of 2022. I think we both had a pretty special year. When you look at those things all together, all in the space of 1 year, I think that's awesome, mate.
And as I said, we had to cut them down too. I'm sure we could have had a top 10.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we're people like. I mean, we get these toys for ourselves, but also, our loved ones, our friends, our mates, they're very generous as well, supporting us.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm loving some of these comments. Like, we weren't the only ones just having the old DIY play sets. Darth Muzzers, Man's Garden, Carl from Retro Cartel, indoor plants and pots were good for jungle warfare. Like that's the thing. Like your imagination knew no bounds as a kid. You know, there were things you wanted, of course, but they didn't stop. If you didn't have them, it didn't stop you from having a great time.
We had these not boulders, but big rocks out the back of our backyard. And poor Buck Rogers, he was out the back with, we're playing with our action figures, and someone, I don't know who, one of the brothers, dropped this boulder on Buck Rogers' head, just absolutely demolished Buck's head. And so he was walking around headless for the rest of. And of course, it's like Toy Story. You kind of reject him a little bit because he doesn't have his head anymore. I felt sorry for him.
Oh man, that's brutal. I mean, that's up there with getting the magnifying glass out in the Australian summer sun.
I guess it was just a test to see how strong Buck's head was, and it wasn't very strong.
Oh god, yeah, it was a pressure test, all right. One out. Oh gosh, that's awesome.
Creek behind the house. Yeah, that's excellent.
So, oh my gosh, how's this? Freezer was Hoth Planet.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, Buck.
Alrighty, so if you guys have other stuff that you're really stoked to have picked up in 2022, definitely let us know in the chat. But let's switch the conversation up now because we've been going for an hour, and we've only got through half of what we're here to discuss. So
yeah, we haven't got I guess 2023 we don't have it, do we? So
no,
we haven't got anything to show.
No, we don't have anything to show. We've got some, I've got some pictures I'll show. Matt, I think you've got some stuff as well. But do you want to crack on with those? And they'll be quicker to talk about.
Yeah, these are in no particular order.
Yeah, so guys in the chat, just so you know, just in case you hadn't read the caption on the video. So now that we've done the top 5 of 2022, Matt and I are just going to rattle off some of the 5 of the things that we're most on the search for in 2023. And the way that I've approached this, and Matt, tell me if you've gone a different direction with it. I've not listed out like 5 ridiculous grails that are at the top of my list because I'd like to be able to look at this list this time next year and be like, oh, cool. Like I ticked off a few of them. And if I went down the grails road, then I might pick up none of them, chances are. So I've gone down like just fairly accessible things in the major toy lines that I collect, that I hope that I can rattle off most this year, if I'm lucky.
Hopefully, yeah. It's like sometimes there's a plan. Whether that plan actually is executed is another thing. It's funny, Muzzer was saying about like the styrofoam there. That's his early days because I think he creates dioramas, like really good dioramas. I know you build a lot of models, Muzzer, but I think haven't you sent diorama overseas? It was like a cantina outdoor setting. It was brilliant. So that's probably your early days. Going back to his early days there, creating diorama.
For sure. I've seen some of Muzzer's work. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. What's this 5-card Buck Rogers? Oh, top pickups, 5-card. Wow. Stargate.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, the Diamond Select ones. Yeah. That's they. Yeah, I think I've got the 4 or 5 main characters from there. Yeah, it's hard. Get a flag.
Yeah, I'll get 2, Andrew. I'll grab one for myself and one for you while I'm at
it. Just win lotto, man.
If only it's as easy as that.
All right. Did you want me to start? I have a visual aid. I feel like I'm at school. I have a visual aid to help me with my first one.
Yep.
All right. So every year, like I'm nearing the end of my Vintage Masters of the Universe collection. There's only a few particular pieces I need before we just get into the ridiculous amounts area of thousands of dollars. Like, we're ruling out Eternia. We're ruling out like the Titus, those big and Megator and the laser light ones. So I'm down to the last few figures. So I'm aiming for, and the fan's blowing this, but there you go. I'm aiming for a Bionatops.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They released these, one of the last waves. I've got the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but I need this one and I need the Turbodactyl. So probably getting one of those into Australia, you're looking at a few $100s, like maybe about $500, $600, depending on the state of it. So I need that. I need a couple of Hordaks as well. So I need a I think it's Buzzsaw Hordak.
Yeah.
So there's that Hordak, and the last one. So I'll be probably looking at one of these 4 figures to try and just fill a hole in. Because I don't want to get all of them yet. So there's Hurricane Hordak as well. So I don't want to get all of the Masters yet. I wanted to just go for a few more years. So I thought maybe just one a year for the next few years. I'll be happy.
That's fine. I mean, we've spoken about this before, Matt. Like you want to keep collecting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to keep going because it's fun, but you don't necessarily want it to be over. And once you have them all, it's kind of over. I mean, there'll always be something else to collect, but so that's why it's, you know, like it's not a race, because you want to enjoy the process, not just about having it all. So I definitely take your point there. And there's some awesome ones there. Do you want me to do one and then we'll try and go back and forth?
You do one too. Yeah, you do.
Okay, I'm gonna do this whole share screen thing, which is real weird. But so
I'll let you know how it goes.
I'll see if I can figure this out. But basically, so my number 5 is the last 2 Mighty Max Doom Zone sets that I need before it starts getting expensive. So Matt, you know how you were talking about, like, you know, you take aside the things that are really hard to find and expensive, and like, well, what have we got left that can come before that? So for me, these are accessible. Like I should be able to get these in the next few months. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah. So basically, it's the last 2 Mighty Max Doom Zone sets that I need from the first series. So the Doom Dragon and the Ice Alien. I want to get these complete. I don't want to dick around getting shells and then trying to find individual minifigures, because as my man James Ward in the chat will attest to, it's friggin' hard work to try and like get accessories. I just find it easy to just hold out for complete sets. So this is like number 5 for me, is to try and sort these guys out. So if I can tick these 2 off, I'll have series 1 complete, series 2 complete, because I've already got all of those. And there's the 3rd series, I've got the cheap ones, or the relatively cheap ones. So then we start getting into the Cyber Skull and Traps Ratus and these other sets that I'm gonna pay probably a couple of $100 for, or close to it, to get them complete. So that's my number 5, Matt.
Okay, good. Number 4, I do have a bit of another visual, but like these actual figures. So the last 2 figures I picked up were these 2 Supernatural guys. There's Bernhardt and Eagle Eye, so they're complete. So they're the last 2 I picked up. I need one more. It's Lionheart. So Lionheart will complete these type of figures, the bigger versions.
The larger ones.
Still need a few Ghostlings, but Lionheart. I'm on the prowl for a Lionheart in 2023. I'd love to get a Lionheart to complete these type of figures for Tonka Supernatural. So,
if you like with the Supernatural, so you've got the 5 other larger characters. They're all complete.
Yes. Yeah.
And would you buy an incomplete Lionheart if you saw one at Collecticon, or is it just like you just wait until you find the right clean complete version?
Good question. I'm not really sure, actually. It depends on the price. I think sometimes I think it's just too hard. I think I'd just rather get a complete one.
Fair enough.
I think that'd be the first preference. So
yeah, some things you can, like, accessories are relatively common and you can piece them together. Some things it's more of a headache than just holding out for a nice complete one.
Yeah, sometimes you can find accessories, but they're really hard to find. So
yeah.
Rather get a complete one.
Fair enough. Alrighty. Well, number 4 for me is the last 2 figures that I need to complete the Toxic Crusaders figure line, and it's these 2 right here. So we've got a good guy in Major Disaster, and we've got a bad guy in Bonehead. Now the challenge with the Toxic Crusaders line is some of these figures came with like 6 and 7 accessories. So I'm definitely just trying to find these guys complete, or like close to it, like 90% of the way there. Rather than, picking them up in, piecing together one accessory at a time. So they're not like ridiculously uncommon. You just don't get them cheap. So I just need to wait till I find local ones that are available of these 2. and I'll scoop them up. And I've still got the vehicles to try and complete, but at least with these two, I'd have the figure line 100% complete.
Done.
Yeah.
Like, believe it or not, I've got those two figures, but nowhere near complete.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, look how many parts. Like Major Disaster has a knife, a blaster, two of these little glow in the dark bombs or canisters. Plus, he's got a backpack with a separate belt piece. Plus, he's got a little fern that goes in the backpack. That's like
insane.
I mean, that's like 6-7 accessories. You know what I mean?
Get incomplete, Scott. Get incomplete.
Which, as a kid, would have been lost in 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One game, he's lost most of his guns, and he comes back the next week with only half his guns.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%, Lee. Like, it's the same as the Ninja Turtles. Like, you know, so many Ninja Turtles came with like 4 or 5 accessories. They've only got 2 hands. So, you know, if like I'm a bit weird like this. Like, if I have a loose figure with no weapons, I won't put it on display. But as long as he's got something in each hand, then I'm happy to put him on display. So, you know, figures that come with 2 weapons are like nice and easy to collect. Figures that come with 6 and 7 weapons, it's like these toy companies 30 years ago were trying to make it hard for collectors.
They knew. Oh shit! I better look at my next one.
Appreciate that, brother. Thank you. We will indeed.
All right. I might have to share my screen for this one. So this one I only found out the other day. And I didn't realize that Boss Fight Studios are doing figures from this show. And I used to love this show as a kid. Like, I mean, I was 11 or 12 when it first came out. So let me try and figure out how to do the present thing now. And I'll share you my screen. And here we go. Share. All right. Can you see anything yet?
I can't. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Yeah, let me bring it. Do I have to bring it on? There we go. Yeah, sorry about that.
Thanks. It's Fraggle Rock. Absolutely love this. As me and my brothers, the first season, we loved it. Not so much later on, but I will definitely be hunting down these. These are due out the first quarter of 2023. What appeals to me the most is the doozers. My dad he's just a workaholic. As a younger man, he just wouldn't stop, always working, whether it's a real job or just around the house. And his nickname was, funny enough, Doozer. So I have bought him a Doozer figure, and he proudly displays that in his garage because he just accepts that. And that's what these things do. They just keep on building stuff for these Fraggles to eat. And so I'll be definitely getting these. There's a double pack of Fraggles, of Doozers, and there's a single Doozer there. So I don't know so much about the actual Fraggles, but we'll see how we're going with funds at the time, but definitely the Doozers.
Oh, they're very cool.
Yeah. So that's my number. Is that number 2 or 3?
That's number... No. I've only done 2 so far, so that's number 3.
3. There you go.
Alrighty. So number 3 for me is a set of real Ghostbusters figures. So when it comes to the real Ghostbusters line, I've got the regular, I've got the main ones, I've got the Fright features and Super Fright features, I've got the Screaming Heroes, though I still need a few accessories for those. But then you start to get into the late series, and obviously at the very tail end, you've got the Ecto Glow Heroes, which are just proper, they're Holy Grail territory. I mean, I'm not going to hold my breath for those, but this, I believe it was the wave prior to that, they had these guys, the Slimed Heroes.
Oh, yes.
And I've got them pictured on card here, but I just want them loose. I just wanted some nice pictures that show off all the figures. But I really like this series of figures because the colors are super bright. They've got awesome additional accessories that the prior waves didn't always come with, like ecto goggles and stuff like that, which are really cool. And then they've got that color change play feature. Whether that would work these days, who knows? But just from a display standpoint, like the blues and greens and yellow, like I just think they look awesome. So and they're not exactly easy to find here in Australia, but they're not like ecto glows. Like I can find them if I really keep looking at it, even if I have to pick them up one at a time.
It's funny, that Lewis Tully figure, I often, because I feel that the Ghostbusters collection is missing a Lewis Tully, because, obviously he becomes a Ghostbuster. But so that one, and there's a purple suit one, but I'd rather this one because it's got the, the backpack. So yeah, that's a good call. Yeah.
Do you have any of those guys, Matt?
No, I wouldn't get them except just the Lewis Tully one. I'd be interested.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, no, I've seen them before. I've done the whole snooze you lose thing when they've popped up on eBay, and I've not pulled the trigger because I thought, shit, that sounds a bit expensive. But now I think about the price that they were listed for, in retrospect, I'm like, what was I doing? Just, you should have just bought them. But anyway, we've all got stories like that. So for now, I'll just keep an eye out, and I'll be stoked if I can get a couple of these this year, even if I have to pay up a little bit for them.
Yeah, sometimes if you want these things, you have to pay a little bit these days, don't you? And
listen, I don't mind paying what it's worth. Like if it's, I don't mind paying, the full total of what it's worth. I don't have to get a bargain, but I don't like having to pay more than what something typically goes for. You know what I mean?
No,
so,
you don't.
We'll see how we go.
You don't get like a second mortgage out, buddy. Man. So.
No, exactly right.
These ones are a bit. My number 4 is a little bit different. I don't know if anyone remembers these. If you don't, maybe go off to, the channel used to be called Toy Galaxy, and Dan Larson did a funny video based off these figures from, I can't remember the year, 80s, Remco. It's called Mantech.
Oh, wow.
So Mantech, I've got all the characters, but there's so many pieces. So they're all like detachable, and you can pull their heads off, and it's a little bit like interchangeable parts. So like you've got 6 characters, 3 goodies, 3 baddies. I've got them all in bags, and so he's missing legs. So my aim is to slowly, and his leg is broken, so I need another part for him. But yeah, there's Solar Tech. So there's another one. There's a red fella. I can't remember his name. But a lot of them, they got guns and parts coming off, like all these little holes in their chests and arms, and it's just an interchangeable system. But there's so many parts to them, but you can get them off eBay USA, and each pay I just kind of go, I'll get a couple more parts. So 2023, I'm hoping to finish a lot, like most of these Mantech figures. Like there's 6 of them, they're all missing something or all got something broken, and I hope to complete them.
So do you have all of them now? Like, do you have every figure now, but you just need to get a bunch of pieces to complete it?
So there's this guy named Terratech. I could pull them out, but it's just, we don't want to be here forever. And then there's 3 goodies. There's a guy, and there's a red guy. There's a blue guy. What's his name? Laser Tech, Solar Tech, and there's Aquatech. Is a yellow guy. So, very unique. I don't know what I guess I'm not sure. Once again, it had no cartoon in the 80s. It was just a comic series. And I've picked up a couple of the comic books just to read up about them and the history of Mantech. But anyway, Mantech.
There you go.
Something completely odd and weird, but 2023 will be the year that they get done.
The year of the Mantech Flex.
Mantech Flex. I'm not sure if anyone's sitting there going, I wish I had Mantech in my collection. They're like, oh, yeah, we'll leave that to you, Matt.
Well, sometimes it's nice when you collect stuff and you don't have a lot of competition. You know what I mean?
That's true too.
Alrighty, so my number 2 is from the Hasbro WWF figure line. Now, 2022 was not the year of the Hasbros for me. I only got a few for the collection. I got the IRS from Phil at Treasures for Trigger. I got a few others that I had to pay up a little bit more. The Shawn Michaels and the Crush. But I probably got all told a handful of figures for the Hasbros. There's one. If I only get one Hasbro this year, I want it to be this guy right here, the American Dream. Dusty Rhodes. Now
I can't dance like Dusty.
This is the only figure that I need from the second series.
Beautiful.
So I appreciate the Hasbro love, Carl. So yeah, I've got the first wave complete. I've got the second wave complete aside from Dusty. So the thing is, like the green cards, I've got Atom Bomb, but forget about it. I'm not trying to pay $500 for loose figures with no accessories. Like
Crazy.
so we kind of park them. And then as the line goes on, it gets more expensive and harder to find. So I'm kind of starting at the earliest to try and fill those gaps. With that said, for some reason, Dusty Rhodes is like $125 Australian figure.
Ooh.
I don't know why, but out of that series, he's the most expensive and hardest to come by. So, but the fact that he's the only figure I need to complete series 2, just that's the top of my list for the Hasbros at the moment. And he does look like he's treading on a bindi. He's jive dancing, but it's a bit weird.
I did look at the Hasbros and I'm like, do I give them a special mention? Because my Hasbros, obviously, I had barely any. And thanks to yourself and Phil, and I think you spotted them at CollectorCon for me to buy. There has been a little bit of progress, not a massive amount, but they are definitely going to be looked at in 2023. Honorable mention.
There we go.
Any.
So I mean, if I get one Hasbro this year, I'd love it to be Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes, birthday present. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't go doing that. Don't go doing that.
I wouldn't now because I've told you that. It's gonna be a surprise. Anyway,
Phil's about to come through with the goods again.
Yeah. That was one of the more interesting videos that I've seen was Phil. Well, I think it was last year. Phil pulling out. He bought a collection of Hasbros. Just kept coming.
Oh yeah. I mean, like that's how my Hasbro collection started. In like 2018 with a bulk lot. But I never see Hasbros sold in bulk anymore. I think people that are trying to move them on have cottoned onto the fact that they've got a bit of value, so it's best just to sell them individually.
Yeah. Alrighty. The last one for me. Present. This is what we're going to do again. Share. Here we go. All right, so this is something that's coming out, I think, later in the year. This one. All right, so if you can share that. So this is coming out, I think, about August, and so this is from the. How do we share that one, Scotty? Can you see that there?
Well, it's on the screen. It's just still loading.
There we go. It took a while. That's
Boom.
It. Boom. Master of the Universe. It's the Origins Snake Mountain. So it'll be in scale with the Origins Castle Grayskull. So really looking forward to having this one. This will be beautiful. Hopefully should be making its way to Australian shores. Hopefully at retail. That would be really nice. Eventually, but yeah, this would be beautiful to have in the collection. Snake Mountain, because I mean, I've got the original. You've got to have the Origins one if they're going to do it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that'd be excellent to have. I'm sure a lot of anyone that collects Masters Origin stuff, that's definitely a piece for 2023 that they'd want in their collection. There you go,
Matt. I'm really glad that you don't have like inappropriate pop-up ads or something coming up on your screen.
Why is that there for anyway? Like it's like a.
Well, mate, it could be plenty worse, is what I'm saying. It could be a lot more.
Yeah. It could be like I wonder if that's because like Leanne shops for girly stuff, and so they're all like popping up there.
Oh, of course, yeah. No, it would. That's exactly what it would be.
That's what it is. Her in a shoes and a clothes.
But with the Origins, so hang on. So Andrew's saying we won't see it here. So you guys don't think it's coming here at all? Like no retailers or websites?
Well, I don't know. It's just I think it's hard to tell. Like I don't know. I guess Andrew and I need to have a conversation about that because I'm not really sure. I've heard that like that it should should be coming out here. There's no reason why it wouldn't. It might just go straight to something like pop culture, and you may
I
just
would have thought
apply
so.
it on there. It won't go to a Zing. Look, I'd be surprised. Yeah, I would be surprised if it came to retail. More than likely, you'd have to get it at like a popculture.com or source it from, like there was that shop I got the Castle Grayskull from, Kid in the Netherlands. So, yeah.
So you'll source it internationally if need be.
Yeah, like I think it's a 50-50 whether it comes here. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
What about the Origins Eternia, or is that just the fact that it was pre-sale only and that's not going to be available outside of that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's not available outside.
Fair
So
enough.
that was really bad timing. We were heading to Melbourne, and that
Yeah.
popped up for pre-sale. So you got to make that call. You know, you spend your money in Melbourne and instead of Eternia, and then to get it out here was just a terrible amount of money. So it would have cost maybe $1,500. So
yeah, you got to make decisions. You know, we can't have it all. So
this one I've heard, if it comes, it'll be similar price to Grey Skull. So
okay,
which was I think retailed out here for anywhere from say 150 to 200. So
gotcha.
We'll see later in the year.
Okay. Alrighty, well, I'm going to bring it home with my number one. So obviously, you know, in terms of the items that I'm, you know, hard on the search for in 2023, there had to be some Turtles representation. And the big thing that I'm really, you know, top of my list for TMNT this year is these two fellas right here, the Mega Mutants, the 1992 Mega Mutants. Now, Matt, I'm not sure how familiar you are with these guys.
I've seen them.
Well, Ryan the Collector Kid actually got himself a Killer Bee at a really nice price in 2022. So, so yeah, so you might have seen him, you know, in Ryan's video, you might have seen that Killer Bee. But I don't have either of these. I would love to get them both. I mean, I'll take either one of them, but it would be a killer year if I was able to get both of them this year, even if they're not 100%.
Killer Bee.
Yeah, even if that's right, even if they're not 100% complete, because they come with all weapons for each of their hands and stuff. And but anyways, I'll see how I go. But what I really like about these Mega Mutants is obviously in the vintage TMNT line, there's heaps of figures and there's heaps of vehicles, but there's not any like beasts. Like to me, Needlenose and Killer Bee are like the TMNT equivalent of Battle Cat and Panther.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Thinking that.
which is a bit of a gap in the TMNT line. There's not many of these like large. I suppose like Krang's android body could kind of be like a similar sort of, you know, a larger scale figure that can house another figure. But anyway, I just think these are really cool, like big jacked mutants, all colorful and really cool to display these like with the figures, you know, riding them. So I love it.
Look at those accessories too. Wow.
Well, and just like the character creation, like Killer Bee is like an ex-con, so he's got like a ball and chain. He's in his like prison stripes. Like there's just so, and he's got you can see Killer Bee's chair is an electric chair.
Yep.
So there's tons of like awesome little details in there. Dean is on the hunt for them as well. That's fine, mate. Listen, if I was to miss out on these in 2023 and you got them this year, I'll just search for them next year. I'll be happy as Larry for you, mate. So that's totally fine.
You just go and visit Dean a lot. And
or I'll come around and I'll just come to your place and play with him. So we all win. So no, it's all good.
Sit on the floor in his garage and have a play with him.
Yeah, exactly. Phil likes the cave turtles that ride the dinos. That's a good question, Phil. I couldn't tell you what year they were. Definitely, like I would say, like 1993 or 1994 to guess.
A little bit out of your range.
A little bit out of my range, but yeah, the cool thing about these Mega Mutants as well is like I've got 88 complete, 89 complete aside from accessories, and 1990. These are really the only figures that I need. I need accessories, so. These are kind of like where I'm up to in collecting the line as well. So, so that's what I'm gunning for in the Turtles, and that's my top 5 wish list.
The wish list. That's right.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. We've done it.
Nice. Yeah, we did it, man.
1994.
I knew the second half would go by fast because we don't have anything to physically show, really.
That's right.
Yeah. chuck down
That's
the blanket again. Exactly.
Yeah, I'll come around to Dean's and we can throw the blanket down and play with the Mega Mutants. So that's awesome. Alrighty, well, maybe we start to wind it up. I said we'd go for 90 minutes, and it's pretty much bang on 90 minutes. So was there anything else? Was there anything else that you wanted to flex on or cover off while we're live?
I probably didn't flex enough. But if you had Andrew would be running off. I'll go and get this, and I'll go and get that. I was thinking of bringing down Snake Mountain, but I just think I'm out of focus.
You guys need to do another live stream where you just get on and show some toys and have a flex and have a laugh.
Well, he has joked about Flex Friday.
I like it. I like it.
Good. Andrew can flex a lot more than I can.
Well, if you guys are flexing, I'm watching. So
keep on flexing. A new channel name for somebody. Keep on flexing. You just got to have the toys to flex.
That's it.
No, this has been great. I've been looking forward to it, Scott. Thank you very much for.
No worries, mate. No, it's been fun. It's like I said, first stream on this channel that's not collector's pack. With that said, Matt, we've got a collector's pack date coming up, don't we?
We do. 2 weeks from tonight. So we're going to get back all together on the 30th of January. Still, I think 9:30 seems to be the plan. We are going to have a guest on. Like, I think we're going to aim for maybe a 2-hour show. They seem to go 2 hours anyway. And first half will just be us catching up and, what have you been up to and what we're doing. And then I think we'll get a special guest in. And we've asked Dan from Ed 5 whether he wants to join us and have a yarn with us. He's a bit of a character.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
As a matter of fact, because Dan sent all of us a gift for Christmas, each of us of the collector's pack, Andrew, Scott, and Ryan and I, and we just got together in the new year just virtually and had a bit of a chat. So it'd be great to continue that chat. I think my battery was about to run out. That's why we kind of had to call it, and it was getting late for us. But it'd be great just to continue that conversation about toys and that love for toys that Dan has, and he's got a big collection. Just a lot of it's in storage, but very interesting guy, and love to get him back on and have a bit more of a chat.
For sure.
There's a big sales pitch.
Well, there was one more thing I wanted to say, Matt, that I meant to say at the start, but we got stuck into our toys. Is congratulations to you and Andrew for cracking 600 subs.
Thank you.
That's brilliant. Well deserved. And obviously, we've still got 25 people in the chat. So definitely, if you're not already 24 now, thanks to whoever that was.
You just scared them off.
Someone made me a liar. If you guys aren't already familiar with or subscribe to Keep On Collecting, definitely go check out Matt and Andrew's channel. Great blokes, knowledgeable collectors, generous people, and it's just all love, mate. It's just all positive stuff. We don't take it too seriously, much like myself. We just, we get on here and have a good time, whether it's live or whether it's making, shorter videos where we review and chat about what we're picking up or do toy hunts. So definitely go give those guys a sub or go check them out. And if you like them, give them a sub. And that'll probably do us till the next one, till the collector's pack in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, what have you got? Anything coming out in the next week or so before the collector's pack?
I do. I filmed a TMNT pickups video on the weekend. So I'm going to try and get that out like no later than next weekend. I'll chip away at it during the week, just editing that, and hopefully get that out for you guys like Saturday, Sunday of next week. This coming week, I should say, because it's Monday. And then I'm probably going to do a little Cadillacs and Dinosaurs bit. So I'm going to keep them going.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. Everyone looks forward to a Scotty Crusher video.
Oh, I appreciate it, mate. Appreciate that.
Thank you once again for having us, Scott.
Thank you, mate. Thank you for giving me your time, mate. I greatly appreciate it. But let's wrap it up. I would raise one to you guys, but sadly I've run dry. So I will wrap it up there and still say cheers. You guys are awesome. And until the next one, as Matt and Andrew always say,
keep on collecting.
There you go. See you later, guys.
See you later, guys. Thanks, chat, for joining us.